Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's obviously a crazy game, so you're obviously happy with the win, but what did you think of 7 goals in the third period?
I like some of them. I didn't like some of them. Some of the ones that went in our net I didn't like very much. I thought it was an off game for us, and I don't think every game can be an on game. But what I liked was the fight in our guys, and then we got ahead of the game, and then we gave it back, and we got ahead of it, gave it back, and we kept fighting. So there's some truth to how I answered the question. There's things that I don't like that happen, that they're pressing, they're searching for points, and they were pushing it. I just like the fact that we were resilient for the win.
Yeah, you step into a season and you work, so you got to get in, have a chance, right? I mean, you're in 10 games left, 10 left. I wonder if you can appreciate that, and you appreciate this, the significance of doing it with 10 games left.
Yeah. I haven't thought about it like that. Literally, it just goes so slow sometimes. It goes day to day. There's a plan to get in, right? But then I think if you start looking too far ahead into a plan, or if you start, remembering too much of what happened 4 days ago, I think you get lost. I think you really got to stay current with what you're doing. Our guys have done a really good job of that. The schedule's been tough. We're banged up a little bit. It wasn't our best tonight, yet we still found a way to win. And that's really the only thing we talked about. We knew Philly would play hard. They did. And we only talked about that. It's like I said the other day, if you can do it in the current moment enough times, you get to a position to have to answer a question like that. And so, I think our guys have worked hard. I think we've done a lot of good things the way we played the game. We've got to continue to do that down the stretch.
Is it more of a feeling in the room, you think, that there's a lot more to be done, and maybe that's why it's not as celebratory right now? I
think the guys are just focused game. I think just based on the season we've had, there's probably an assumption or at some point that you're going to get in, and so it's not about that anymore. It's about playing the right way, feeling good about your game as you get near the playoffs, approach the playoffs, and then you'd like to keep it consistent in the playoffs.
Is there anything that you can appreciate about missing 3 regular D in a game like that?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys stepped up. It was and a forward that came in and provided something for us as well. Recently in Wenberg, him not being available tonight as well. But guys continue to step up and take on more minutes and more responsibility, which I think they've handled pretty well. We got a kid coming in playing, Brandon coming in playing his rookie game tonight. You'll probably remember that one. And then guys like Weedle stepping up, Jones stepping up, more minutes, and then even Kean Schneider. Like I said, it wasn't a perfect game for us, but our guys, we didn't stop fighting for it the entire night.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine. So it got to a point where we were chasing that game, and it got to a point where in the third, and even into the second, I moved the lines around. I was just looking for a bit more juice, a bit more energy, different double shifts on players. When you start double shifting, somebody always takes a hit, and so at that point he was out. He didn't do anything wrong. It's nothing against him. He tried to do what he could, but with regard to skating, being physical, putting pucks behind, but we got to a point where we were chasing goals and playing the game that way.
We've seen you do that a handful of times where you shake things up as if a game's kind of not going your way. Yeah. Is it just as simple as looking for a spark, or is there ever more to it than that?
I think getting some players out on the ice more. Like I said, it always comes at the expense of somebody or multiple people. But you've got some guys that are having some years, and if you're behind in a game or you're tied in a game, the first 2 periods you haven't scored, you haven't produced much, there hasn't been a lot of chances. You're looking to try and do something instead of just riding that out. I think there is a time where you got to switch. Well, I feel like we've been fairly consistent. There's a really good probability that we're just going to go back to the lines the way they were. It just wasn't working tonight. Not through my eyeballs anyway after 2 periods, period and a half, and something needed to change, something needed to move.
Does clinching at this point give you the runway to experiment, or do you want to just lock down and you want to try to lock down the division? You just go out and win games, or do you give yourself a little leeway and say, you know what, I kind of like to see this, and now I can.
We've been, when I have changed the lines because of injury or because of a situation like tonight, I think our guys have handled it, and I think sometimes that's a good thing, something fresh, right? You know, it's the same thing for a month in a row, and then on the 32nd day, it's something different, and there can be a little bit of excitement in that. For me, I think I'd rather stick with what we've done. I don't want to change too much, like the year's gone in a direction that we would be happy with to this point. I don't think I want to go moving things around just to try things. I'd like to get back to what we know and what we know works, and we're playing a real good team next game, and play a game that we're happy with.
Does 800 wins mean something to you right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of, in all honesty, it's a lot of good coaches that I've worked with over a lot of years. A lot of good staffs, great staffs through a lot of years, so many good players, organizations. And Michael Pekka was the first to remind me that he was there for the first one. But, you know, I've said this before, it's an honor to be here, still coaching at my age, and to get to 800 is something. Thank you.
Is everybody going to make the trip, the three defensemen, Wenberg?
I believe so, but don't hold me to it if one doesn't.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.